Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this MacBook Pro model A2141. Alright, I believe this is a 16-inch MacBook Pro. So we got a replacement here. We're going to have to transfer everything over. So let's go ahead and cut this open. Okay. Alright. If you don't want to see this part, you can fast forward over. I need to open this on camera just in case there's anything weird with it. Okay. Oh no, is it going to be difficult to cut this? They taped all around. They taped all around it. Okay, oh, let's see. I guess it can somewhat open. Okay. Right, so here it is. Oh, nice. It has the battery in it. That makes it a little bit easier. Hopefully the battery's good. What the heck how did they tape this on here? I guess we're just going to tear up all this plastic. So let's see an easy way to get it out. I gotta be careful because the plastic's getting caught on some cables. There we go. It's getting caught on this sharp point here. Okay, there we go. Alright, so yeah, it looks great condition. Okay, they did say some of the keys are shiny, I think, as you can see. You can see the finger typing marks. But other than that, it looks really good condition. So hopefully it's actually good condition. Sometimes it'll look good and then the keyboard will have issues or something. But anyways, we'll set that aside. Let's go ahead now and take this thing apart. So we're going to start here with a P5 or Pentalobe. I believe it's a 1.2 or something. Okay, so let's go ahead and take these screws out. Alright, so you want to keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the power and I remove them. So we got 2 on the back here near the hinges, and then we got 4 towards the front here. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove all the screws. Alright, you want to use a good screwdriver set. Don't get like some cheapy thing, because if the screws are slightly off, you can actually strip the top of the screws or the screwdriver, and then you're not going to be able to get the screws out. So if you need a link for a good set, let me know, and I can give you guys a link for that. Alright, so there we go. We'll get these out. Okay, it helps to use a suction cup to remove the bottom cover, but it's not necessary. You could also use a piece of tape, or if you can get underneath the cover, I'll show you how without. Okay, so there we go. We got all the screws out. Again, the screws are different, so make sure not to mix them up. Even the little front ones that look about the same length, if you look at them here, actually those are about the same. Sometimes they'll have like the part where it's flat here a little bit different. This one actually seems to be about the same, but I always like to put back the same screws where I found them just to make sure that nothing's weird going on. Alright, so we're going to rotate it this way because it's easier for me to work with my hands. So in this air intake gap, I get in there and I pull this cover up slightly. You can see now we have a gap here, so I'll go in there and then we can pull this up. Usually it doesn't pop out that easily, but it's popping out relatively easy. Usually I have to go down here and then I'll push with my thumb here on the palm rest and then pull up on the cover here. Lots of dust is flying out, so I'm going to have to take this out and clean it up. Now that that's open, I'm going to grab in here, get my fingers in. I kind of keep it so my nails are against the edge because this is really sharp. If you stick your fingers too far in, you can slice through your fingers here. Okay, so be very careful. I'm going to grab here and I'm going to push down here, hold my fingers wrapped around here so it doesn't fall over anyway, and then pull down and push down there, just like that. Same thing with this side, and there we go. Alright, so now we got this open. You can see it's very, oh, what in the world? There's like all those crumbs in there. Okay, I'm going to take this outside, clean it up, and then I'll be back. Hopefully their touchpad is okay because we're not replacing the touchpad. So they told me the keyboard. So yeah. All right. So I'm gonna clean up this gunk that fell out onto my desk. I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna use a toothbrush, and then I'll clean it. I'll show you what I did after, but I need to use an electric air blower and clean this out, and I'll be back. All right, I'm back. So we cleaned it out. You can see it's a lot less dusty here. Okay, so basically what I did, you can see there's still a tiny bit, but it doesn't all come out. Basically, I just did this, loosened up all the dust, used an electric air blower, blew that out. For the fans, oh, it turned itself back on. What's going on here? Okay, touchpad is working, so that's good. This computer keeps turning itself back on. Okay, for the fans, you see that? It's turning itself back on. I think I'm just gonna have to pull the battery. All right, let's go ahead and get this out. So this has some adhesive holding it. Oh, there's hair stuck under there. Okay, set that aside. All right, we're gonna have to, I don't know if it's gonna stay off. I'm gonna hold the power button because apparently clicking shutdown gets it to turn back on. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and pull the battery connector out. Let me zoom in here so you can see that better, and then I'll kind of explain how I cleaned it up. Oh, I guess it's trying to turn itself back on again. All right, let me get this little tool to make it easier to get this up because it's not wanting to peel up. Okay, peel that up, and then pull this straight back. Come on, let go. There we go. There's that. All right, and the computer actually turned off after pulling that out. All right, so yeah, that cable is actually, this little cable is very important. I get a lot of people that replace their battery and they're like, it's not working, and it's that little cable. All right, we're gonna pull this screw out using a T5, Torx 5 screwdriver. Again, keep the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths. Now that we remove that, I'm gonna pull this tab up slightly so it's no longer touching the battery tab underneath. And then we're gonna open up the laptop and press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds to drain any residual power. All right, this is very important. It's only 15 seconds, just do it. Some people ask, do I have to? Technically, no. Technically, if you want to remove the screen, you don't have to take out screws. You can just tear the whole thing out and destroy everything. So yeah, take those 15 seconds. It's very short and it could save you from destroying your entire computer, okay? All right, so now we got all of that out. Back to how I clean this thing. Okay, so basically I use a toothbrush here and I just do that. Okay, get the dust loosened up from the fins, and then I use an electric air blower and I blow through this. You don't want to blow it this way because if there's a whole bunch of dust built up here, it's going to blow into this fan and it's going to get stuck in there. So you want to blow it this way. Then when dust balls come out, you can kind of like brush that to pull it out or use tweezers or whatever to get the dust out that way, okay? All right, so then the rest you kind of just brush all over. Just be careful not to damage any of the stuff. And yeah, all right, so for this, to swap the keyboard, we're gonna have to also swap the, what do you call, the Touch ID fingerprint reader. All right, since we're using the T5 already, let's go ahead and start with removing some of the screen cables. So this is basically going to be a screen and motherboard as well as touchpad, trackpad replacement video. And the Touch ID button. So yeah, I've done videos replacing the pulling the Logicboard out and putting it back, and I've done videos taking the screen out, but for this specific model I haven't done removing the Touch ID button. So we're gonna have to, that's why I'm making this video right now. Otherwise I would have been like, I've already done each step separately, I don't need to do a whole another video. But I guess this is going to be that. All right, so here we go, we got this. Oh, apparently this thing kind of like brittle. You can see it just folded up like that. It doesn't like, it's weird, it doesn't roll. So all right, so there's that. I guess, oh, that's attached to something, no wonder why. All right, we're gonna pull these antennas up. Oops, I should zoom in here, huh? Okay, so I don't know if you saw, we removed 4 screws from up here, and then there's one there, so we're gonna remove those. We're gonna pull these up, and this adhesive seems to be attached to this one, so I don't know. Oh, okay, actually it's not, it's just folding weird. Okay, then we're gonna get this last guy up. Same thing, just get underneath the tail and pull straight up. There you go. All right, we can't pull the antennas out yet. There's all these P2 or pentalobe 0.8 screws we need to take out. So let's go ahead and get those out as well. All right, there's actually more screws we have to remove after this to get the wireless antennas out. But first we're gonna remove these. Okay, again, pentalobe, P2 or pentalobe 0.8. Okay, Apple likes to start using all these weird screwdriver bits that nobody else uses to make things difficult. So if this is your first time working on these Apple devices, yeah, this is the same screwdriver type that they use on their iPhones, just so you know. Okay, somewhat annoying that they decide to use this because the bits, they're so tiny that if you don't have a really good quality screwdriver bit, it's basically just gonna break the tip off after working on so many. I've actually had one, these bits, they're really hard material, but they're also somewhat brittle. So I had one where, I don't know why, but every single one of these screws, they were super tight. I think they put like super strong thread locker or the wrong type of thread locker. And to get these out, I ended up having to find a steel bit, like one that instead of is brittle, it kind of like twisted. So as I was taking these out, the bit was getting twisted. And then these bits, it was actually so hard to turn, it was just snapping it. So it's pretty crazy. All right. But normally these bits are like super good for everything. So that was crazy. I've only had one MacBook ever do that. So it's really strange. All right. That was one time where I was actually happy that some companies sent like little screwdrivers, because I don't know what kind of metal they used, but those somehow worked well. So yeah, but that kind of material, it like, instead of breaking off, it like bends and twisted. So I don't know how many of those I could have done if they were to continue giving me those kinds of broken ones or MacBooks where it was like that. All right, we're switching over now to a T3 or Torx 3 screwdriver bit, so we can undo the screen connector here. Okay. All right, and we're gonna have to remove 4 screws here. After that, I'm gonna have to stop for a bit and then I'll be back. But let me get these 4 screws out. Okay. Maybe I should zoom in a little bit here for you guys again. What is happening out there? Okay, so we'll get those 4 out. We'll remove this little metal cover. Make sure you don't flip it upside down. You can see how it has this. Also, yeah, you can also see how the rounded edges point down towards the middle of the MacBook. All right, then we have this one. Remove this metal plate. It has a foam underneath. I don't know if there's a slight difference. So this one has a like very round circle here, and then this one has a little bit of a wide one, and that goes towards the right side or closer towards the motherboard. Okay, so now we'll disconnect this and then I'll be back. All right, let me zoom out here again, because now we're going to be able to pull out the wireless antenna. At least I think. I've never done it without taking these out first, so we'll see, but I'm pretty sure we can take out the wireless antennas. All right, give me a second, I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Let's go ahead and continue this. So let's see if we can pull this out without pulling these out. And I think we can. You see, it's actually, yeah, we can. So we'll pull this straight up. You can see, oh no, it's a little bit covered there. So let's go ahead and remove that. We're gonna still use the T3, Torx 3, okay? I don't know why I even tried, but let's go ahead and take this out, because either way we have to take this out to take the screen out. But I guess somebody's probably gonna ask, can I replace the wireless antennas without taking other stuff out? So this will answer that question. No, you have to take this out, okay? And you have to take this one out. Okay. All right. Oh, why is the screw missing there? Okay, a screw is missing there for some reason. I don't know where it is. Is it somewhere in here? I don't think so. I don't know if I have a spare of that kind of screw. We'll have to see. Anyways, now we should be able to lift this up, okay, and then wiggle this out. And it came out easily because I already popped this thing out. Normally you'd have to pull up and then it will pop that out, okay? So we'll set that aside. All right. Now that we've done that, we only need a few more screws. Let's actually make sure to take these out because you don't want to forget those. Otherwise you will damage your screen. Okay, so there's 4 screws holding these little spring-loaded thingies in place. So we're gonna remove those as well. Okay. One there, one here. These 2. Okay, again, it's a lot of screws. Keep them all, make sure to keep them all in order. All right, got all those screws out. All right, now that we got those out, we're gonna switch over. Oh, actually, we need to remove this super tiny one, right? Or can we take it with us? We might be able to take it with us on this one because we're gonna take the whole hinge out. Let me see. So normally this, you need a super small T2, Torx 2 screwdriver, all right? Let me double check. All right, we're gonna get this guy. Wait, why is it just twisting already? Oh, wait, what? Wait, they changed it. Okay, that one's not a T2. That one is it a P2? Let's see. Oh yeah, it's a P2. All right, so interesting. On this model, they stuck with a P2 or pentalobe 0.8. So we'll take that out. Okay, and then let's go ahead and remove the other hinge screws. So there are 6 hinge screws. The way I remove this is actually, so first let's lift that out. I'm going to switch over to a T8 or Torx 8 screwdriver bit. Lift this out of the way. Okay. Be careful with this that you don't snag it and damage it when removing the screen. Okay. All right, so we're going to now get these out of the way. We're going to open the screen all the way, flip the laptop over, okay, and go this way, hang it over the edge of the desk, and then now let's go ahead and undo the 6 screws here. Okay. All right. Get all 6 of these screws out. You want to hold the screen up so it doesn't just fall down while you're undoing the screws. Okay. Make sure to get all 6 of these out. Okay. Again, keep all the screws in order. All right, last screw here. All right, now that we got all 6 screws out, we'll let the screen fall slightly and then pull this up. Again, be careful with that cable over there. And there you go, we got the screen removed. So we'll set this aside and we'll have to work on that later. Let's zoom back in. Okay, so now we got the screen out. We're gonna flip this whole thing over. Okay, lots of stuff here falling all over the place. Let me move things out of the way. Okay. All right, next, let's take a look. We have a whole bunch of connectors here on the motherboard that we do need to disconnect. So probably will be best if I zoom in a bit for you guys. But it's going to be a little tricky with the amount of desk space having to move this thing around all over. Okay, so we're going to have to go back and forth between T3 and T5 here. So let's see here. All right, if I remember correctly, all the little connector covers are going to be using T3, Torx 3, yep. So I'll take this out. I do need to double check the replacement and it does have a lot of these connectors. So this is like keyboard backlight connector here. All right, so it has the speakers, and then it has the touch bar, obviously. And okay, so I think that should be okay. We'll remove this and remove that. Okay, again, sorry, I'm like putting all the screws in the pattern. So now we can go ahead and remove this. Okay, this one looks like that. Make sure you don't put it upside down. I don't think you can put that one upside down, but all right, so now we got that. We'll flip this out, so just get underneath and pop it up. There's also the fingerprint connector here, so make sure you pop that out as well. Otherwise, your Touch ID fingerprint reader, if you break that, it's gone forever. All right, we've got 2 more screws here. We're gonna remove those. That one and this one. There we go, and then we'll flip this up. We'll peel this back. All right, flip that latch up. And then you gotta pull this one up slightly and wiggle it. Usually though, this tape tab isn't gonna work too well. So a lot of times I have to use another tool to get underneath and help pull it. So I'll get under with this little plastic tool, and then I'll help pull that back. And there we go, okay. And we also have the fan connector here. We're gonna flip this, so we gotta peel this up as well. Peel that up, flip that latch, okay. And then we'll pull this back. Sometimes there's adhesive under here. I think the adhesive kind of peeled itself up. So if it does and you can't peel this up, you can put a little drop of isopropyl alcohol and then it will slowly peel up. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look here. We got the speaker connector down there. Flip that latch, pull that out. Okay, got the keyboard connector here. Looks like someone was already like peeling this stuff. All right, flip that latch, pull that back. Got the touchpad, trackpad connector here. We're gonna remove that as well. Okay. If you want to see the screw layout, I'm gonna make a separate video of that, like I did in another video, and that's gonna be considered like you. If you send a contribution to my channel, I'll share that with you. All right. Just let me know. Okay, we're gonna pull that up and then peel this up. Obviously, if you kept all your screws in order, then you don't even need that video, but yeah. All right, so I was holding down there, so that way when you peel it up, it doesn't just suddenly release and then rip this cable out. All right, it always is gonna like kind of put a little bit of a wrinkle in there, so don't worry about that. It'll still be working okay. There's one way you can kind of somewhat avoid that, maybe with some isopropyl alcohol, but then this layer, the, what do you call this, matte layer there, it'll all like rub off and then your battery will be all glossy. I don't know if that's going to cause any issues. I don't think it should, but yeah. All right, we're going to go ahead and remove these now. And this kind of has a little hook, so you have to lift up here and then slide it over that way because of that little hole. Okay, it hooks in. Get that over there. Okay, now we can disconnect this little cable here. Make sure you put that back, otherwise your MacBook won't know to turn the screen on and off when you close it. All right. Make sure to flip this up as well for the touch bar. All right, then we got this for the charge ports. All right. Again, if for some reason you mixed up your screws and you need to see the screw layout, that's going to be a separate video. It's going to be blurred out in this one. Okay. Okay, yeah, and this, they don't include the charge ports, so we are going to have to transfer those over, obviously. That's usually something they don't include. All right, we're going to pop this up and then kind of fold that out of the way. All right, we got the little connector here as well. I'll remove that. I believe that's also for the touch bar. Okay. All right, same thing. We'll take this out. I don't know if there's a, I don't think there's a right side up for this one, but yeah, we'll set that aside. All right, we'll flip this up. All right, don't forget this one. This is the microphone cable, so flip that latch. And then once you do that, you kind of want to work your way forward. If there's adhesive, again, you might have to use some isopropyl alcohol or something. There's a little adhesive, but as you can see, it's not stuck to the board. So it peeled itself out over time. All right, then you got another fan connector. Flip that latch up, same thing. Got to pull that out. Okay, under there, wiggle it out. Again, this also has some adhesive, but it peeled itself up. All right, so we didn't have to mess with that. Okay, I think that's all the connectors and everything. So let's zoom out. Now we got to undo all the screws from the motherboard and then pull that out. So I'm gonna start with the T5 or Torx 5. Oh, we're also gonna have to remove that. Sorry, I forgot about those. So let's start with the T8 or Torx 8 and we'll remove those screws. Okay, so we'll get this one out. I'm gonna move some stuff out of the way so I have more room here to work on things. So much dust everywhere. Okay, so we're gonna remove this T8 Torx 8 screw bit first, and then there's another one over here. Okay, remove both those. Those are slightly different as well, so you don't want to mix them up. All right, next we're going to go to the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver bit, and we're going to start removing the screws that hold in with that. All right. All right, and again, it's always a good idea to put them in the pattern you remove them, so that way you can always put them back the same way you found them. All right, so this one was holding the antennas down, so obviously it's no longer there. Another one all the way over here. All right, another one here. This one might be actually a T3. Got another one all the way out here. I believe that's also a T3, and that's also a T3. Oh, we did forget this one speaker connector. So this is the same as the other side. Just flip the latch and then kind of wiggle and pull it up. All right, there we go. And move that aside. All right, we'll now switch back or switch over to the T3 or Torx 3. I'll remove this guy. Remove this one. And then the last one here. All right, and that should be all the screws holding the motherboard down. We do need to peel this up. So there's adhesive. You want to carefully peel that out. Okay, putting this thing back in is going to be somewhat of a pain because all these cables. Wait, I thought I peeled this up. Did we not peel this one? Okay, make sure to peel this guy up. So flip this latch and then wiggle and pull that. Actually, this is the microphone. This one I think might be also part of the touch ID. I'm not touch ID, touch bar. We'll see when I pull it up, I forget. All right, anyways, we're gonna carefully now lift this whole board up. So we're gonna find a point where we can kind of get underneath the board and lift it up. Wherever you can works, just do it, all right? So we're gonna get that. And then all of these little connectors end up usually getting in the way, so you do have to kind of pull them out of the way as you slowly lift, and be very gentle, go very slow. You want to make sure none of these connectors are holding anything down. All right, go very, very slow. Okay. All right, very slow. You want to make sure you don't accidentally rip any of those connectors off. Okay, so slowly lifting. There we go. These rubber pieces go underneath, so you want to be very careful, I hope. Okay, I'm gonna have to transfer those over from the other one. Again, slowly, very slowly, make sure none of these connectors are getting trapped on top and getting ripped out. Okay. And there we go. There's still a little dust there, so clean it up while you can. Okay, so if you have, you can use, again, a toothbrush, blow that out. There's dust underneath as well, so you might as well clean that out while we can. All right. If you accidentally damage this LCD LVDS cable here, there's 2 more screws under here. I believe they are T3, Torx 3, and then you can take the metal plate off and pop this off on the other side. So if you accidentally damage that, you can replace this cable. All right, so there you go. Also, if you need to do the thermal paste, there's 4 screws. These metal bars will go flying because they are spring loaded, so keep that in mind. If you're gonna undo the heat sink to redo thermal paste, you will have to remove these. I believe these are T5 Torx 5 screws. All right, cleaning the dust out. All right, I'm gonna set this aside for now. Not really much else to look at there. And whoa, look at that. There's a big hairball here. Jeez. Okay, so there's a bunch of fur and stuff all caught under here. Okay, so actually this is part of the keyboard backlight, it seems. Okay, or it's going into the keyboard area, so. Okay, next thing we gotta do, we gotta check and migrate over everything here. What are these hairs? They're like, ew. They're like curly. I don't want to guess what they are. I mean, they could be sideburn hairs. I don't know, but there's. Some of them are just short, straight. I don't know. Hopefully they're from a cat or something, because that's a lot of. How are there so many hairs in here? Did someone like shave and then just dump them in there? What is going on? Jeez. Like, how do you get so many hairs inside your computer? I don't get it. Whatever, hopefully that's all of it. Okay, so we have a lot more to take out. We have the fans. Okay, gotta move all this stuff over here. Okay, so we got to remove the fans. I'm gonna switch back over to the T5 because I think that's what we need. Yep. All right, so we're gonna remove the fan screws here. So we got another here. I think we might also need the T3. I think these middle ones, yep. Okay, so we're gonna need to switch back over to the T3 or Torx 3 to remove these. Okay, I'm gonna have to move all these around to make it so I can actually fit stuff here. Okay, so we should be able to carefully peel the fan up now. There we go. And you can see the rubber piece is part of that. So I'm gonna move some screws out of the way and get the fan there so it's easy to keep track of. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with the other fan. Okay, switch back over to the T5, Torx 5. We'll move those. Peel this up. Okay. Put that down there. Okay. All right. Now let's go ahead and take a look again. We do need to remove these. Again, using the T5, Torx 5, there are 2 screws. So pull those out as well. Be very careful with the other cables if you're planning to reuse any of this. And then we can pull this out. Go. Then we got these 2. And then we'll lift this up and get that out. All right, let's see. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, we do need to take the touchpad out here, of course. So let's go ahead and get that out. Also using the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver. It's a lot of screws. Oh my goodness. Move some things out of the way here so the screw layout will make more sense. Okay. All right. Again, this information or the screw layout will be available upon request and will require a small contribution. Even if you can only contribute like $1 or something, or even 50 cents or even a penny, if it somehow lets you send a penny, I'll accept that. But yeah, this will be, I'm trying some stuff out to see if it will help to where it'll actually allow me to make a living doing this. Okay, so there we go. Get these as well. To move these up a bit. Alright, be very careful with the touchpad, trackpad. It has little washers on there that can fall out really easily. Okay, we're gonna now lift this up. If you left the screen on, you can also take this out. You just have to open the MacBook up. Alright, then we'll open that. Oh my god, that's so gross. Okay, so this is in there. I'm gonna have to clean that out. So let me clean that and I'll be back. Alright, so still trying to clean this up. It's pretty gross. I don't know what in the world. Okay, look at this. Oh my goodness, that's way worse than I thought. Okay, I'm gonna clean this up some more. I'll be back. Alright, I think that's as much as I'm gonna do. I had to even scrape it out with this thing. Oh my goodness, I had to scrape it out. It was still kind of gross, but since we're not reusing that, I think that's okay. I cleaned this one up as well, and the little washers, I took them out, but I'm gonna have to obviously put them back. As you can see, okay, they're off right now. This had like so much gross, flaky, crusty stuff in there. All right, let me set that aside for now. We're gonna put the washers back onto this. Okay, so this has, it helps to use, you can use magnets for this, but anyways, you can grab these. Okay, so it has these long ones on all of these double spots. Okay, and then it has these circle ones over the single posts. Okay, I was like, when I dumped them out or took them out, I was wondering where one of them were, and it was stuck to the other side because all the crusty, gross stuff that was on there. And you gotta be careful, because if you set this down too hard, like this part is somewhat springy, it can launch those little washers out, and then you'll lose them. Sorry, there's still a bunch of that gross stuff in there I'm trying to get out. All right, again, like these things are somewhat springy, so you want to be careful because you could easily lose them just by setting the touchpad down a little too hard. Okay, so keep that in mind. Also, if you accidentally flip it over, they're all just gonna fly out. So yeah, so make sure you don't accidentally flip the touchpad over. Okay, there we go. All right, so we got all those little washers on. I'm gonna set this aside. All right, gotta set it somewhere I'm not gonna lose it. All right, now we got to compare the new one with the old one. So this is the new replacement one that we're going to be using. We do have to transfer over the button here. It looks like they left the little whatchamacallit in there, that little board, but I feel like I should swap that over as well. So they left this little attachment point here. Oops, sorry. There you go. So I feel like I need to transfer that over as well. Let's go ahead and take a look. So we got both these connectors. Okay, I mean, all the sensors, everything is in this button, so we probably don't need to, but yeah, there's that. Speaker, got the keyboard. Okay, touchpads. Actually, oh, I didn't have to remove the touchpad, it came with one. But I guess we'll try their touchpad. No, actually, should I transfer it over? I'll transfer it over just because I want to make sure that everything is working right, and their trackpad for sure is working. Okay, then you got the battery little cable. If you want, you can actually remove this cable and transfer it over, but we're going to leave that there. You got the other speaker, or yeah, other speaker cable, touch bar thing, another keyboard thing, the microphones, and then you got the other touch bar cable. So I think that's everything. We just need to migrate over the button here. So let's go ahead and actually swap that. Okay, so to get this out, we are gonna need something to lift this up. So get a little thin tool to get under there to peel that up slightly. Okay, and we're gonna have to disconnect this little cable there. So let me zoom in quite a bit. All right, I think this uses a T3. Am I using the T3 Torx 3 right now? Oh, that's a T5. Okay, so we're going to use the T3 Torx 3. And all these little hairs and stuff. Alright, so we're going to use that, and we're going to undo these screws. Okay, so the 4 on the corners hold it onto the button, and then the 2 in the middle, hold the entire thing into the case. And I'm going to also undo the touchpad so you can see how to align it and everything, because there's a little process to align it. Okay, also take note of the way this spring goes so you don't flip this upside down. Okay, so there's a little notch at the top of this metal piece. Oh, let me actually get all of it out first. So there's a little notch at the top. Also, these screws are different. The ones in the middle are wider, like the tops, so don't mix them up. Alright, so this metal plate, as you can see, this part goes up. Oops, sorry, this part faces up because the cable there, and you don't want to flip it over. So here you can see the spring open part, the farthest pointy one, is pointing towards the center of the MacBook. If you flip it over this way, now it's pointing the wrong direction. So make sure you put it back the right way. Right, this is also going to be in the screw layout, so if you need that, again, I'm going to be recording that separately. It'll be in this video, but it'll be blurred. Right, this latch we need to flip up as well. Okay, so flip up that latch. Oh, it's going to help to use like a tiny tool here that you can kind of get in there. Actually, even with this, it's kind of tough. A little pointy end work better. There we go. All right. And then this, we actually have to peel and separate this. So this, you can see, we have to peel and separate this from the board there. So get that up. Once you peel that, you can pull that out. Then this drops through. You have to be careful, lift the whole thing up and let it fall through. There we go. And there's the power button. So I don't think I need to transfer this over. I'm gonna leave that because to get this out, you have to use like some isopropyl alcohol and dissolve the adhesive. And if it's not necessary, I don't want to take that out because that can be somewhat of a little bit of a pain. All right, so here's the button. That's what it looks like on both sides. Okay, I'm gonna now show the screw layout. Again, it's gonna be blurred out in this video. So if you want the unblurred version, you'll have to let me know, send me a direct message through something like PayPal, Zelle, I don't know, however you want to send stuff. But yeah, all right, so let me record that part now. You'll see it somewhat blurred, so you can see a little bit of what's going on, but yeah, all right. So here we go, let's zoom out. So first thing, you got the bottom case screws there, okay, the two long ones towards the back, and that battery screw. You got the 4 screws that was holding the board for the screen in place, and then the one towards the bottom right, that one is for the wireless antennas. You got these tiny screws here. Those are the pentalobe ones for the wireless antenna. You got these 6 screws along the bottom, the 2 on that side for the black part, then these 2 here for that little metal bracket, and then the 2 over here for the other black spring-loaded thing. Then you got the 2 here that were holding the connector in place with that metal black thing. That's the tape that covered the battery connector. You got these 2 hinge covers with the 2 screws. You can't really see the other screw, it kind of went underneath there. These are the 6 hinge screws. This is the tiny screw that held the little, what do you call that sensor? Hall effect sensor or something, the one that detects the screens open or closed. You got all these screws for the motherboard, so this is for the 2 that held the heatsink in place, and then you got these T5 screws. The missing hole there is where the wireless antenna screw would go, and then you got these screws, the 2, sorry, I believe just that one is a, sorry, it's like, let me point with this thing. Okay. Just that one, I believe, is a T3, and then these 2 down here are T3. I think that was a T5, if I remember correctly. All right, there's obviously the wireless antenna. You got these holding all the connectors in place. So this was holding the power button as well as the other audio jack. Then you got this holding the charge ports, USB-C, which is those. You got that one holding, what was that, the touchpad connector, I believe. This one for the touch bar, this one for the other charge ports on the other side, and then that one's for the Hall effect sensor and the other touch bar connector. You got this, those are the charge ports on the left side, fan screws for the left fan, well, since it's upside down, this is the left side while the fan's upside down, fans for the right side while it's upside down, the other charge ports. This is for the power button there, okay. Touch ID power button, you need all of this, and then this is for the touchpad, trackpad. Okay, so pretty much those are all the screws. Let's go ahead and continue. All right, so we're back. Again, let's actually pull the touchpad out from here as well. So let's go ahead and remove the touchpad. Okay. Obviously, you've already seen me remove one touchpad, so you don't need to see this one. Actually, let me just not record this part. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. It's a good thing I took that out because this was actually missing a washer there. So yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and finish swapping everything over. So there's the new one. You can see they actually put a little warranty sticker there. Okay, so first thing, there isn't really a specific order you need to do this, but I'm gonna go ahead and put the charge ports in first, okay? So get that lined up. Okay, let me see if I can zoom in a bit. My camera's mount is kind of falling down now, so. All right, I'm gonna loosely fit this screw first, get the second one. All right, and then get that in. All right, now while I'm holding this in place, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten the screws down, just like that. Perfect. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do the other side. All right, just like this. Same thing, get that in. We'll loosely fit the screw first. Customer wanted this back by 10. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time. This is taking longer than, all right, I expected, but let's see. All right, so we got the 2 charge ports in. We're gonna now get the power button Touch ID in. We do need to use the T3, Torx 3 back. Okay, so we're gonna now lift this up. And we gotta thread this through. Come on, where are you? It'll be easier for me to look from the other side. Okay. There we go. Get that in. All right, now we gotta hold that in place while we get this there. Okay, and I'm gonna get at least 2 of the corner screws in first. That in. Okay. Loosely fit. And the other corner screw. Getting a lot of messages, but I gotta focus because the customer really needs this soon. Okay. Jeez, why is this screw not going in right? Come on. It's going in at a weird angle. Stop it. There we go. I don't know why it was going in that weird angle. Okay, now we got those 2 in. I don't have to hold it anymore. And we'll get this guy. And I'm loosely fitting these first, just so, to make sure everything lines up right, in case you're wondering. Okay. We can go ahead and tighten this all down now. Because, again, this just holds it to the button. This doesn't actually hold the button in place. As you can see, even with the screws all the way tightened, this can wiggle around a lot. Okay. So this, we're gonna have to loosely fit these, line up the button, and then tighten them down. So I like to twist it all the way and then twist it back a little bit, just so we can still move this around. We gotta line up the button, and then we'll tighten it all the way. Okay, so here you can see the button here, it can wiggle around a bit, so we gotta kind of make sure it's centered. Okay. I don't know, sometimes customers don't really care or pay that close attention for it to matter, but I like to try and get it as close to the center as possible. It's very difficult. I wonder if there's like a kind of a shim or something that you can put just to line everything up. All right, that looks good. Let's go ahead now and tighten this up. Okay. Tighten that down, flip it back over, take a look. All right, looks good. Let's go ahead now and get the button into place here. So this one's always a pain. We're gonna have to get this into there, make sure that latches up. It is, okay. pull this guy back. Let me peel this up a bit more. Okay. Pull that in. Hopefully my head's not getting in the way. Actually, let me zoom in more here. Sure that's getting in. Come on. This is such a pain to get back in. Let me try doing it with some tweezers. I need like flat tweezers. I have these like pointy ones, but okay, that worked. Okay, and then make sure to push that in all the way, and also make sure it's in flat. You can see it looks a little bit crooked, so there you go. Straighten it out. And then slide your finger over to latch that down. You can see now that latch is good. Okay, we're gonna now put this back down, stick that adhesive, and try and tuck that back in. So this kind of like tucks in front here, okay? So if you want to have it somewhat the same way as before. Okay, there we go. Next, we got the fans. Let's zoom out here. Okay, and the fans use T5 and T3 screws. So again, make sure that you put those back. So get this, line it up. Okay. All right. And we have the T3 screwdriver. So let's go ahead and put the T3 screws in first. Those are the ones closer towards the center. I'm going to loosely fit them first. Okay, then we're going to switch over to the T5 or Torx 5 and do the outer screws here. If you notice, I like to twist the screwdriver backwards first to feel the screw drop into place. All right, now I'm pulling the fan towards this to try and make sure it's as close as possible. Okay. Switch back over to the T3, Torx 3. Okay, we'll do the other fan as well. Over here. To save time, I should have just put in the T5 screws on this one first. Alright, loosely fit that. Loosely fit that, and then we'll get the T5 or Torx 5, and we'll get these in. Make sure you're not crushing any of the cables. All right, now we're going to pull this up again and tighten the T5. Okay, switch back over to the T3. Tighten those back in. All right, next we should be able to get the motherboard in. Again, we do need to make sure these do stay out of the way. Let's zoom out. There are a lot of cables and connectors here, so you do need to make sure, okay, very important, that you don't crush any of those cables or have them hidden underneath. So I'm going to try and pull these out of the way to start, okay, but we're going to have to pull them out of the way as we go, all right, because they're all going to want to kind of go back in underneath. This is kind of the annoying part. I don't know if there's some secret way to do this, but this is always how I have to do it. All right, so we're gonna get under here. Make sure these two connectors are on top. Okay, make sure this one's on top. Make sure the one for the keyboard thing is on top. It's going underneath, so I'm gonna have to use something to push it in. So we'll use this. Get under there and kind of push that. Okay, so make sure to pull that on top. Sorry if my head's going in the way. Make sure this cable's on top. Make sure this one's on top. Okay, slowly lowering it. Obviously, there's more connectors over here. Okay, so we got this one. This one is the little sensor that's part of the screen that we'll put in later. Okay, we got this. Where did I put that little sensor cable? Huh. Uh-oh. Oh, I put it over there. Okay. So we're going to get this here. Okay, make sure that's on top. We're missing the fan connector there, so we're going to have to pull that up. We also have to pull this battery connector on top as well. Make sure that stays on top. So this one, is there a way I can thread that over? Nope. We're going to have to use a long, thin tool here. Push that up. If my head gets in the way, I'm sorry, as usual. Okay. Come on, stay out. Okay, there's the fan connector. And obviously now other connectors are going back underneath. So we need to get that back out on top. Come on. Are you serious? Okay, this speaker cable wants to go back under. Okay, and then the microphone cable, I'm gonna use some tweezers, that might be easier. Come on. Okay. Pull that slightly through and then pull the rest of the way. Come on. Oh man, they keep taking turns to go back underneath. Get back out. Get back out here, fan connector. Okay. All right, double check again. That one, this one, this one, this one, this one, that one. Okay. Then we gotta go to this side. Keyboard connector here. All right. Gotta get the speaker one. All right. Got everything. Where's the little fan connector here? I'll push this through. First part is pushing them out and then making sure other ones don't fall in. Okay, so I got that guy. Okay, we got this guy, and then we got these two over here. That one's good. All right, so I'm gonna hold this up and then get those two out somehow. Oh no, oh no. Come back out, please. So this is falling in, but we also need to make sure the rubber piece goes on top. And I think that's why I have someone I work with, and then a lot of times I see the rubber piece is missing. I think they're probably like, screw it, and they just cut that piece off. But really, this helps a lot with the airflow, so yeah, don't rip that off. Okay, get the keyboard connector back up, get this one. Okay, let's get these two, the audio jack and the power button or Touch ID. And then while we're holding that, we need to pull this guy back out. This guy. And the fan connector's stuck back under there again. See how annoying it is to work on this kind of stuff? Honestly, Apple, you should be ashamed of yourselves for designing such a crazy, stupid design here. Okay. Gotta keep pulling this up. Make sure these connectors aren't getting caught. Okay. There has to be some kind of secret to doing this. I don't know how Apple employees would do this, or even a machine. I don't know how the machine would do this. It's very, very, very annoying. Maybe they tape this stuff on. Come on, get back over there. Okay. Maybe they like tape these down so that way, as they're kind of like doing this, it's all held out of the way. I don't know. That's my guess, because I don't see any other way that this would be doable and not make you insane. Okay. All right, everything dropped in. Let's double check. We'll start. Okay, we got these two, that one, this one, this one, that one, this. Okay, this is for the touchpad. We got that guy. All right, I think that's all of them. So let's start reconnecting everything. Okay, zoom in here. All right, got the Touch ID power button. Line it up. Even just lining up and connecting these is a pain. Come on, I don't have much time left here. Okay, click that down, line this guy up, and click that down. Right, power buttons, line that up. You might have to also pull it over slightly to get it to go in. So yeah, just know that it doesn't always like line up perfectly. All right, microphone or keyboard. I think this is keyboard backlight actually. Okay, keyboard backlight. Slide your finger over to latch it. Fan. In. Okay, good. Then slide your finger over to latch that. If my head gets in the way, I'm sorry. I need to be over the top to be able to see better. All right, get that one in. Line that up, slide your finger over to latch it. Keyboard, make sure that's latched in. Get that. Okay, and then pull that into place. Slide your finger over down to latch it. We're gonna wait for the battery stuff. Okay, the other fan connector here. Line that up, get that in. Okay, and then slide your finger over down to latch it. Other speaker here. Okay, make sure that's in. Slide your finger over to latch that. Alright, these are all good, right? Okay, flip that over. Click that down, good. Get this one, line that up, slide that in. Okay, this is the other keyboard backlight. Slide your finger over down to latch it. The other microphone. Go. Alright, slide your finger over down to latch it. Again, this is the touch bar connector. Hopefully you guys were able to see that one. Other power button connector, push that down. Other touch bar, push that down. Right, the fan stuff, this, just line it up and then smush it down. Okay, why is this kind of weird looking here? There, okay. Stick that down. All right, now let's go ahead and put back all the little connector covers. We're going to use the T3 or Torx 3 screwdriver for that. Okay, so first one we have is this here. Actually, no, we can't put that back yet. We do need to put the T8 or Torx 8 screws back first for the sides here. So let's go ahead and put those. Okay, so we'll tighten that guy down, and we'll do the other side as well. Let's actually put all the motherboard screws. Actually, let's put the screen in since we're using the T8, and we'll be done with the T8 Torx 8 screwdriver. So we'll zoom out again. Over the edge of the desk. All right, so we got that. We need the screen here. All right, so here's the screen. Flip this back over upside down. Make sure these hinges are open all the way. You are going to have to pull all of this out. So the two spring-loaded things as well as the main circuit board. So I get underneath with my fingers like this. Hold that up. Get this into place. Okay. Like that. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get two of the screws in first. So the outer one here. Why is it going in weird? Okay, so we'll get that one in and the second one in. Well, we're replacing the whole bottom cover, so I guess if things aren't lined up right, it's because of that. All right, so there we go. Now we'll put the screen down. We'll carefully, slowly close this. Okay, and the reason we do that is because this can slide around and not be aligned right. So we're gonna undo the screw. We didn't have to undo it that much, just enough so we can wiggle it around. Okay, so now we can kind of, I don't know if you can tell. Oops, let me zoom in a little bit. I don't think we can zoom in that much to see the whole thing. But this, it can wiggle side to side, and the gap here will not be aligned. So you want to make sure to line everything up. This should be flat here. smooth, okay, on the back here. And then this gap between both should be centered, so you want to have the gap as even as possible. And now we can go ahead and tighten these down. Okay, now that we got those, let's go ahead and put the rest of the T8 Torx 8 screws into the hinges. Whoops, sorry about that. I got a call and it somehow killed my recording. Let's go ahead and finish putting these screws in. Okay, so I'll get this one. I don't know why this side, like the screws, they're a lot tighter to fit in. We did replace the entire keyboard assembly, so yeah. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and get the rest of these screws in. Yeah, this side's not as bad. Alright, then we'll get this one. Oh, actually, this one's a little bit weird. Alright, so tighten that all the way in. Okay, we can't forget the little sensor that goes in here, so let's make sure to get that. Let's zoom in. We're done with the T8 Torx 8 now, so we'll set that aside. Okay, so we're going to switch to the T3 or Torx 3, and we're going to go ahead and get this guy back into place. So first we'll just clip this down. Line it up. It can be a little tricky to find the center. There we go. Alright, and then we'll get that pushed into place. Make sure it's lined up. It has a little raised metal thing to kind of help you line it up. And then we're going to switch over to the P2, Pentalobe 0.8. And we'll get that screw in. Okay, tighten that down. There we go. All right, and then now time to get all the little cover thingies. This side can be a little tricky, so let me we'll do the T3 Torx 3 screws, and we'll do those spring-loaded ones first. Usually if I replace a screen, I do those first. You want to make sure also this cable ends up on top. So this, you got to rotate over, make sure it goes into the hole, and then while you're holding it in place, we're going to go ahead and get the screws in. Okay. I like to do these first, and then after that for the screen, we'll have to do the wireless antennas before we do anything else, but let's go ahead and do these, because why not? Okay, then we got the other side, spring-loaded one. Okay, we'll get this in. Get that in all the way. What is going on? Why is it just spinning non-stop? I hope they didn't strip out that thing. Alright, let's get this one in. And hold that in place, and then we'll tighten that screw down. Okay, that one's good. Now let's see. It is lined up, so I don't know what's going on there. Must have stripped something there. Alright, anyways, now we're going to get that. We can put in the wireless antennas now, just to start everything out. Okay, so the wireless antennas. Oh, I'm getting another phone call. Give me a second, I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Let's go ahead and continue this. Let's get the wireless board in. So this goes under here. You might have to kind of like move the antennas over a little bit to get them to go where you need them to go. And we're gonna use a little tweezers or anything kind of small to get into here, because as you can see, as you thread this through, you have to kind of pull these antennas up. Okay, so you have to pull them up to get on top of the board. Okay, and obviously Apple could have built in some kind of ramp here to make this easier, but nope, they decided to make it as difficult as possible. So we gotta get this through. If for some reason you can't see these antennas as you're kind of pushing it in, you might again have to pull it back out and then bend the wires in that direction to make it easier to get through. All right, and then you also need to pull the screw mount up as well. There we go. Now get this underneath this piece, get everything lined up here, and then push that down. It should kind of wedge, excuse me, and clip in. You can see as I pull it, it's staying in place. All right, so let's go ahead now and switch back over to the P2 Pentalobe 0.8 screwdriver, and we'll get these screws in. I like to put the edge ones first, so this one here, the inner edge. Okay, I like to, again, twist it backwards to feel it click into place, then tighten it down. Okay, then pinch the other outer edge and get this one in. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on this side. Get the inner one. And then the outer one. To twist it backwards again to make sure it lines up right. Then tighten that down. Okay. Now we got to get the rest of these screws in. Okay. Honestly, it doesn't need all these screws. Apple's just crazy. If you just use the 2 outer screws and left it that way, you'd be fine. Your computer will work perfectly fine. But if you're doing this professionally for someone, please don't leave screws out. That's messed up. All right. If you're doing it for yourself and you're just like, I don't care, then go ahead, leave them out. But again, if you're doing this professionally and you're leaving them out, don't be that person, okay? That's messed up. Okay. All right. Some of these screws go in really nice and easy, and some of them are kind of like tough. That's the difference. There's some slight differences between each little casing. Even though the screws are exactly the same or look exactly the same, there are some slight differences. So again, that's why I like to put the same screws back where I got them. But in this case, we're replacing like every screw mount here. So technically, if you mixed them up, as long as you're putting the same type of screw back in, you would be okay with this here. But again, I don't like doing that. I like to make sure that I put the same screws back where I got them. Okay, seems good, lined up. The ones that feel tight, I'm checking if they're all the way down, because I don't want to twist too hard and then break the screwdriver or the screw. That's why I'm running my finger across the top. Okay, that one's good. All right, so we're good with the antennas. We're done with the P2 Pentalobe 0.8. Let's go ahead now and switch back to the T3, Torx 3, and start putting all these little covers back on, okay? So we got this one here. All right, again, if you're putting these covers, it's important you have that one little heatsink screw in, because the screw actually goes into there. So I'm loosely fitting this first. Okay, and then I like to try and center the little bracket, like to line it up, so that way when you see the screw here and you kind of wiggle, you see, I don't know if you can tell it's off center right now, so I like to try and center them as much as possible. All right, looks good. Now the power USB-C ports. I hope the battery is good on this one, because if the battery is bad on this, I'm gonna have to take a bunch of the motherboard screws out. If you want to see a video on that, I have a video showing how to replace just the battery. I'm not gonna have time to record and explain what's going on in this one, since the customer needs to pick up their computer and work on it soon. All right, so there we go. touchpad one we'll wait on. Okay, we got this one over here. The touchpad also needs to be aligned, just like the power button, Touch ID sensor, okay? Trying to line up the hole so it's centered. All right, there we go. Okay, next the other power buttons here, or not power buttons, charge ports. Okay, then we'll get this one and we'll hook that on. So hook that and then flip it over. Almost there. Tighten that down, tighten this down. All right, let's put back the motherboard screws. So this one here was T3, if I remember correctly. Okay. This other one was also T3. Oh, one thing I didn't check for, which I hope everything is there. Sometimes there's the screw mounts under here that people don't put back. It looks like they're all there. Okay. So hopefully if you were following along, you didn't have that issue, but if you were watching the video before starting, let me show you what I mean here. So on this, like this piece, actually, I don't know if this one can come, oh, it can come out, but you'd need a T8 Torx 8. So sometimes like these things on the bottom, people take them out for some reason. In this case, as you can see, I got those screws in, we're good to go. So that's one other thing to look out for, okay? I think we're done with the T3 Torx 3 for now. We're gonna switch over to the T5 or Torx 5, and let's get in these screws, okay? So we have one all the way over here. Then we got another one down in the middle here. Got another one all the way on the other side here. Okay, then we got the ones all going along the top. So we got this guy here. We got this guy here. And the one all the way on the other side here. All right, let's go ahead and put these T5 screws here and then the wireless antenna one. I'm gonna loosely fit these first because this board can wiggle around. Okay. Come on, why isn't it going in? I'm not even able to get this in. What is going on? There we go. Okay. There we go. 1, 2, 3, and the fourth one here. Okay, and then I try and line this up, get it all centered, and then tighten it down. Okay, that one, oh, slightly over to the side there. Okay. So the way I line it up is I look at the golden ring around the screw and I try and get that centered if I can. It doesn't have to be 100% centered, but I like to try and get it as centered as possible. And it looks like it keeps sliding over. So maybe it won't be possible to completely center this one, but do it as much as possible. There we go. Okay, let's tighten these all down. Last one here. All right, and then we have the one for the wireless antennas. Here we go. Now we gotta put the wireless antennas into place. Sorry, my head's probably gonna get in the way for this one because I need to kind of look over the top. Actually, hopefully moving it over like that helped. Let's see if lifting this up. I gotta lift this up because this thing tore kind of weird. Okay, and then get that lined up and click that into place. There we go. Get this lined up. Might have to pull it back a little. Click that in, and the last one. Honestly, I don't know why they put this thermal stuff over the antennas. I think it's just so they know that you did something, because there's no way you can work on this without that thing getting shredded up like that. It's very annoying, bad design, but I think it's for them to know that you opened it. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and get this connected into place. So usually you have to kind of pull it back this way a little bit and then click it down. Good. All right, we're gonna switch back over to the T3, Torx 3 to get those in. So we have this big thing here, and then we'll get the screws. Again, you want the rounded side of the screw hole thingies, edge facing towards the logic board or motherboard. All right, get that in. I loosely fit it first. We're gonna get the second one in. Now we'll tighten that down. All right, then we'll get this. All right, and then get the second one. And we'll get this, and we'll tighten that down. And we'll tighten this down as well. There we go. Double check this screw, good. All right, now all we have are the hinge screw covers and the touchpad stuff. So we'll get this in. Again, I don't know why they're missing one hinge screw cover. I don't know if I have, let me see if I have something at least similar. I don't know if I'll have the same exact size. Okay. So give me a second, I'm gonna check my box of screws, see if I have a similar one. I'll be back. All right, I'm back, and it turns out I did have one, so at least it looks the same. All right, that's good, it fits. Okay. All right, let's go ahead now and put back the touchpad and get the rest of the screws and everything back in, and we should be good to go, okay? Let's zoom out here a bit more. Grab the touchpad. Be careful, again, it has those little washers on it that can go flying, so you want to be very careful. We're gonna now open the laptop, and then I'm gonna tuck this one through here. Okay. Slowly work it in. Get this lined up, and again, you want to be very careful because those little washers, even just sliding this in a little bit too rough, can cause the little washers to fly off. So now we got to go back to the T5, Torx 5. I'm going to double check it one time. Let's pull this out just to make sure, because loose washers is never a good thing. Okay, looks good. All right, now we're gonna get 2 of the T5 corner screws. So I'll put one here. Okay, loosely fit, don't tighten it all the way down. And then a second one in this corner here. There we go, loosen a little. Okay, you can see how wobbly it is. That's why we're just loosely fitting those screws. Then we're going to go ahead and get this connector, line it up, click that down. Okay, I'm going to push that and then tape that back down. Let's go ahead now and get all the touchpad screws into place. And then again, we're just loosely fitting them first because we're going to have to line it up and then tighten it down. So I tighten it all the way and then twist it back a slight bit just so it's no longer holding down. Okay, just like that. Just like that. Now we're going to have to flip this over, line it up, and then tighten all the screws down. So we're going to flip this guy over, open it up. Okay, you can see how the touchpad is kind of not aligned right. We're going to use 2 pieces of tape to do this, so you can use any kind of tape. Let's get a piece of tape here, okay. So the way I do that is I do this. Then I take the tape, I fold over a tab here, okay? This is a release tab to make it easier, and then I'll cut it in half. All right, and then I can use these to kind of move the touchpad around, center everything. You can see we can wiggle the whole thing. Oops, let me put this closer, there you go. Okay, so you can see we can kind of wiggle this. So you want to try and get it as centered as possible. Top. It's a little tricky because of the lighting. The lighting can affect it a lot. So if I look at it one way, it looks aligned. If I look at it another way, it somewhat doesn't look right. So let's see. I think it's still a little bit weird. Let me fix that up. That's the one annoying thing with the design of these MacBooks. Okay. Sorry, my head was in the way, I didn't notice. All right, that looks aligned as much as possible. Let's rotate this, flip it back over, and then tighten down all those screws. Okay, I like to do the corners first just to make sure everything is good. And then tighten all the rest down. Just like that. Okay. Go over one more time, make sure it's good. All right, then we'll flip this back over, take a look, make sure it looks good. Okay, looks good. Flip this back over, make sure these things are sticking down. They keep wanting to pop up a little. All right, now we got to put the touchpad cable back in using the T3, Torx 3, or not the cable, but the little cover. Okay, and then we pray that everything is good. Okay, line that up, good. One more. that down. Good. All right. We'll now switch over to the T5, Torx 5 for the last time, assuming everything is good. Get that screw, line it up with the battery thing, tighten that down. All right. And then we'll get the little cable back in here. So this cable, make sure that latches up for the motherboard. Get that lined up, push that in, make sure it goes all the way. You can see barely any of the little gold part is showing. Slide your finger over to latch it down, push that into place. Then we have this little piece, not really important, it's just for cosmetics. We'll flip that over, you can see the little cut in there lines up there. Push that down, we'll zoom out, and we're pretty much good to go. Let's go ahead and test it real quick before we put the bottom cover on, just in case. We just want to make sure it turns on, and then we should be good to go. All right, we'll get the little plug that in, push the power button. You should feel this start to click in a bit. Okay, feel the touchpad clicking, so we should be good. I'm going to see if it does a PRAM reset on here. So I'm going to hold the PRAM reset, Command Option P and R. I don't know if this model does that, but I'm going to try it anyways. You can feel it clicking. I do see the Apple logo. Oops, I should have kept holding this. But the Apple logo's there, so we should be good to go. Again, it didn't reset the... Did it reset the PRAM? Because the Apple just went away. So we'll know if it reset the PRAM if the Apple comes back with max brightness. Right now there's nothing on the screen and the touchpad's still clicking. And yeah, max brightness. So I think the PRAM reset did work. So we should be good to go. We just got to get the bottom cover on and the screws, and that's pretty much it. All right, I don't want to show their username, but there you go. We got the little thing and we should be good to go. Let's shut it down, and hopefully the thing doesn't turn itself back on. Yep. All right, that's good. Okay, this thing keeps wanting to come back up for whatever reason. The bottom cover will hold it back down, but that's kind of bugging me a little. Okay, there we go. All right, now to get the bottom cover back on. So this has these little hooks here. It slides into those vent areas there. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and line this up slightly lower, and then we're gonna hold the vent area in, slide that up. Same thing with this side, hold that, slide that up. I like to double check because usually one side will slide back out a little. Double check the sides. As you can see, it's more to one side than the other, so I'm gonna use these nubs to help slide it over. There we go, it's all lined up now. Now we can just push that all back together and we're good to go. Oh, I didn't notice there's one very tiny dent there, but it's better than a bad dead keyboard. So that's pretty much it. Let's get the P5 Pentalobe 1.2 screws in and we're good to go. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. All right. If you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. You can also subscribe to my other channel. It's been reviewed. It's basically the same, but the profile picture is like more zoomed in. And then I just put my review videos there, and I don't put any of this other content there. So yeah. Again, if you want to see the full screw layout, if you could send a contribution to the channel, even like smallest amount you can, doesn't matter, even a penny, I don't care if you can do that. All right. If you really can't do that, then if you can just subscribe to my other channel and then just say, hey, I'm here from your computer repair channel, then I'll send you the video as well. All right. You don't have to actually send me even a penny. All right. But anyways, let's go ahead and open this up. And I think we're good to go. So I'm gonna have to call the customer so they can log in. I can double check the whole keyboard, because Apple, they don't like to let this touch bar work until you actually physically sign into your account, which I think is stupid. The keyboard is working, but without logging in, I can't see what exactly I'm typing. So yeah, anyways, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Let's drop this. Bye.